Students in Primary 5 next year will be graded under the new PSLE scoring system, which will kick in 2021. They'll see their exam results reflected under new scoring bands. They'll also be given an idea of the cut-off points for secondary schools in the first half of 2021. Changes to PSLE were first announced 3 years ago to reduce an overemphasis on grades. Associate Professor Jason Tan from the National Institute of Education joins us now for more.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming in. Firstly, just to clarify some of these points then, students who get 75 marks and above for a standard level subject will get an A star and A, but under the new scoring system, it's going to be sort of more spread out or banded from 1 to 4, depending on their exact mark. Is that a better way to differentiate students?
I think it's important to remember that the Ministry of Education rolled out this new scoring system in direct response to frequent public complaints about the current scoring system, that it's simply too wide a range of T-score aggregates, and that has produced undesirable levels of anxiety among both parents and students. And also the fact that the PSLE is right now a norm-referenced exam. In other words, your performance is determined by how well you do in relative to your peers. So I see this new scoring system as a welcome change to try and reduce the huge range of PSLE scores. So we're seeing a huge reduction from about more than 200 PSLE aggregate scores to about 20, I think it's 29.
So Jason, tell us more about this issue of the type of mix of subjects you can take. I mean, you've got standard and foundation subjects. What will the impact on students be if they were to take all foundation or all standard subjects?
Yes, I think this is something that both parents and students need to pay close attention to. For instance, if a student takes all of his or her subjects at the foundation level, he or she will be eligible for either the normal academic stream or the normal technical stream. So if the students and their parents wish to be eligible for admission to the express stream, they need to take at least one standard level subject.
And then I guess the idea is to give more flexibility and space to develop strengths in areas of interest for students as well. So that's the key goal here, to help students take the pressure off them, perhaps, but also to allow them a bit more freedom and flexibility.
Yes, we're talking about a couple of things here. We're talking about helping more students to enjoy greater flexibility in terms of their subject choices. We're also talking about greater permeability in terms of various pathways, in contrast, I think, to the previous rigidity of the old streaming system.
So Jason, I mean, on the point of that and why these changes have been put into place, why calls were made in the first place 3 years ago for changes to PSLE. One of them was to introduce more flexibility. The other one was to address this overemphasis on grades that cause stress on students. So we're kind of moving away from that emphasis to a more holistic education system. What's at stake here? Why is it so important to do that?
I think it's important because I think it's been a constant bugbear among many parents and students that levels of stress are too high and far too much time is spent on academic preparation, and that this stress is at the expense of non-academic pursuits and the enjoyment of schooling.
And that is something that we need to keep in mind as well. These are children, after all. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us, Associate Professor Jason Tan from the National Institute of Education.
Thank you.